Hello everybody, it's Philip from AOC1 and this is our week 4 project video. And this week we were tasked to redesign our project 3 app to use the Unwind Segue instead of using delegates. And as we can see here, we no longer have any delegates associated, and it's going to work out quite well for us. Let me go ahead and show a little bit of the code that we're working with here. We see that we now have a should perform segue with identifier, which allows us to check if we're on the appropriate segue to switch from the second view controller back to the first. We can then check if our appropriate field is blank, and if so, show an error. And then we can set our property that has our event field text in it. That way we can transfer that back to the first controller. And then that's all basically that the second view controller does. Let's go ahead and go to the first view controller. And since the first view controller is now the destination, we have a few more events in here than we did in the first project. At the beginning here, we do have the ability to pull the contents of the event list from the user settings. And if it's not blank, we set it to the event list, which prevents the system from crashing if the text is already not set. And then we also come down here to the onDone. And the onDone is a custom IB action that we set when we're transferring back from the Unwind segue from the second view controller to the first. And we can reference our text string that we had, the added event text, that's on that view controller, to be able to add it to our event list on this one. And then we go ahead and add it to the event list, and then down here I call a custom method that I created to save the data for the event list into the user defaults. And then of course I refresh to make sure that the event list is displaying information correctly. We also have my custom set event string to defaults method, where we're just taking basic user defaults, which are standard. We're setting a base object here for the individual key that we need, and then we're saving. And then I have my get event string, which again is using standard user defaults, and I'm returning a string for key, not object for key. That way I get a string result back. And then I did add a search bar as well, and this is a search bar delegate that is added to this view controller that allows me to process when somebody types into the search box and presses enter on a keyboard or the search button itself. It allows them to search for individual text within the text view. That's a lot of information, don't really get to see a lot without testing, so let's go ahead and fire it up on the iPad and see how that works out. Alright, so here we are on the iPad. That's what you can see there. It's right here in case you need proof. But you're seeing what I see using Xmirage. We'll go ahead and add some items here, and I'll show you how that works. So we'll click on Add Event, and let's add some general text here. Okay, so we have some information here that allows us to long press on them to be able to open them as we need to. We can open it in Maps if it's an address. We can go ahead and send a message if it's a phone number, go to a website. If it's an event, we can add it to our calendar. I did add the ability to search, so if we click up here for search, we can go ahead and type something in. So if I knew that I had a bunch of notes on here and I wanted to find out what I had coming up, let's say in Nevada, I can do NEVADA, and if I click on search, you can see there that it highlights Nevada. If it was below the line, it actually would scroll down to that point as well, but that allows us to do a quick search. And so there we go. We also need to make sure that it loads information on startup. So there we go, we just closed it. We're going to open it again, and there enough it is. We'll go ahead and add one more line to make sure that it is adding. And there we go. We did also make sure that if it's empty, we want to make sure that we enter our details. So there you go, guys. In a nutshell, that's what it is. What did I find hard this time around? Actually, I found this a lot easier than using the protocols and delegates. I would have probably liked to see a little bit more about some of the nuances of prepare for segue and the should segue command. A little bit more information on the text view would have been nice this term as well. The text view has a lot of capabilities, as we've seen here, but there's a lot of nuance into creating it. There's a lot of reiteration that you have to do in code to make sure that everything is displayed properly too. So that would have been nice. But other than that, I think it was a great project. It was very fun to create, and I look forward to our next term and our next class together. All right, everybody, have a great one. Take care.